Hello folks and welcome. So today's video is about your panel icons and your menu icons, custom menu icons. Sometimes when you're changing themes you may have a blank icon, usually a white box with an exclamation point on it, and you may want to keep the theme, but how do you fix the blank icon? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to show you how to change multiple icons if you like. If you take a good look at my panel right now, you'll see some strange looking icons. And some of them are standard and some of them not so much. The File Manager Thunar is not a standard icon, neither is Firefox. This is a game. It's a breakout game with a different icon on it. I have a web-based icon that looks exactly like my logo with rounded corners. I used that program called GIMP to make that for the icon part, not the shortcut. But more importantly, the MX logo is also different, along with some other subcategories. So not everybody's cup of tea, but if you want to know how to do this, and I understand that a lot of people don't like to alter icons, and that's great. Keep it as is, as one would say. Then there are some things that when you install, and MX has the same thing, you can install themes, multiple themes, either manually or keep the ones from the system. And sometimes you have an undesirable icon or you want to actually alter that icon to your liking. Hence the word custom icons are spicing up your desktop a little bit. How's that? Xfce Desktop, MX 23.1. 6.1 series kernel. This is a tower computer. Motherboard information is here. CPU is right here. And the graphics card is right here. It's a 4 gig AMD. It's capable of doing 4K. However, I'm not filming in 4K. I'm filming in 1920 by 1080, so you can adjust your YouTube player accordingly. I always film my videos right inside the own desktops, so you get the experience of what yours should look like. Well, of course, minus the specialized icons. You are watching this on Linux for Seniors. This is just a watermark, and it's faded out on purpose. Don't subscribe here. Look for this icon down here in the corner, though, right above my power icons or the analog time. If you see that logo, you can click that to subscribe. I've got 270 plus videos on all kinds of things. So I made what I call a poor man's web icon using create URL link. And then I created this icon on top of that using GIMP. GIMP is like Photoshop. GNU image manipulation program. Here's my YouTube site. I made it into an icon. Got 275 videos on my current channel. I had a previous channel with 450 videos. But that's another animal in itself. And I also use GIMP to edit all of these thumbnails. Every one of these things that you see here. So basic uses of GIMP, I just released this video on a different distribution. However, GIMP is GIMP. If you click on this video, it'll show you how to make icons similar to this with rounded corners. You can also use GIMP to convert images, resize images. There's a lot of things you can do with GIMP. All right, 275 videos. If you have never heard of my channel, hit subscribe. Use the magnifying glass to do searches. You just want videos on MX? Try that one out, for instance. All right, it works rather well. Or you can just do it the old-fashioned way. You can scroll. I have lots of material on all kinds of things. I have some of these tips on the community tab. Linux is for any age. I also have some links for you. gnome-look.org is a good place to look if you're looking for complete themes and icon sets, even mouse cursors, mouse pointers, separate videos on that also. I'm going to close that. So welcome, folks. Again, look for that icon there. If you don't see it, find me on YouTube. Linux for Seniors. So I will open up the file manager first, Thunar. That icon looks like this one for this theme. The Firefox icon looks like this one for this theme. I like this one because it's brighter colored. But when I open it, not everything opens this way by opening up a second icon, but a lot of things do. So to give you an example of GIMP, I did not alter this icon. This came straight from the installed copy. So this is GIMP. So again, I use a lot of this applications heavily to edit all the thumbnails on my previous channel and this channel, and also how I made this icon was done through GIMP. Okay, so take a peek at that video if you want to learn a little bit more about GIMP. Okay. So I am going to open up the file manager, and our user for today is MX New1, just a made-up name. So this is Thunar. Now, anytime you decide to use your own icons, may I make a suggestion to you? Create yourself a folder. I threw mine in documents. Call it whatever you want. Throw all your icons in there. Okay. So once you use one or more icons out of these kind of folders or directories, leave the name alone and the icon name alone, because it becomes a pointer when you start using them in your system. And you can see I have custom icons in here. That one's custom, the MX logo, the little games, penguin, multimedia, internet, and the breakout game are just one of those examples. I have lots of different icons. Just to give you an example, I brought this icon in, then I enlarged it, colored some of the eyes in different formats using GIMP. Same thing goes with Darth Vader with the red eyeballs or not. This icon here, I had this replacement over here. So let me show you how to do this in a second, because I'm going to use that icon for my games icon, for instance. So some of these icons I've downloaded, some of them I made, some of them I've altered. There's the Firefox icon. That's the exact same one. And the reason I chose this one, I found it on the internet, is because it's brighter than the standard one. This is your standard icon. Okay, I just didn't care for it. It wasn't my cup of tea. All right, with all that stuff said, leave this folder once you got it going, and don't rename it. All right. I'm going to click on the MX logo. It's not MX logo, it's a Thor's hammer. Properties. Appearance. Icon. It's currently using this one. If you have seen my previous channel, you may have seen this icon quite often. But I am going to click all icons and type in MX in here. The icon can be found here. Distributor logo and the old logos, and a black one. I'm just going to change it to the default one. That one. Okay, then you can add text or not. That's all up to you. Icon only, text only, or title, and then icon and title. If you want to add some spacing in between the icon and the text, you can click before the text and hit the space bar, and after the last word in the text and add spacebar between here and workspace 1, if that's the way you got your icon situated. I know some of you folks like the vertical. I prefer this. Why? Because I got more real estate down here in this direction than I do in this direction, but that's a preference thing. Now I'm going to click this icon and use a custom one. So using the all icons, I can start pulling stuff from the system. All right, so you can try this out, and that's the icon. So what happens when you change your themes though? Well, let's find out. Well, in this case, I have a blank box. Whoops. All right, so before you start any of this process, may I make a suggestion that you do a screenshot? I'm going to return this theme back to default. Okay, so I'm going to MX Comfort and that one there and close. Now the whale is back. So not everything when you're picking system icons will work this way. But since I am doing this, I am first going to find where the MX logo is located. And on your system, when you first click on that, I believe this is what you're going to see. I'm just trying to find the folder. So I believe that icon is going to be located here. All right, so I want to say it's maybe that one. Okay, so I'm going to click that. So you'll see this pattern right here. So I was asked the other day, I have a print screen key on my keyboard. When I press it, it takes a picture of the wallpaper or background and everything else to go with it. And I just wanted to make a window screenshot. Well, then you need to go find your tool, because that's how they're designed on most distributions, is when you press print screen on your keyboard, it's meant to do the whole screen. But if you type in SC on most distributions, you'll find the screenshot tool. Your icon may look different depending on the theme you picked. You can right click and add these things to favorite, desktop, or panel. I have it sitting right here. The nice thing about this tool is, I'm going to pull it to the side here, is you can select the entire screen. Well, that means wallpaper or background, box, and panel, or just the active window, this box here, or select region. So I'm just going to put this on top and hit OK without the mouse pointer. I wait for the thumbnail to produce, and then I'm going to do a save. And I normally save this into a folder, but I'm just going to toss it on the desktop for right now. So it just has the name screenshot, today's date and time. But more importantly, I can clearly see the path in here and what's selected. That is the only reason I made a screenshot. So I have this information in front of me in case I need to go back and change it back to the icon that I started with. So I'm going to get rid of that screenshot and open up my file manager just briefly. I'll close both boxes and leave that logo there for a second. So I have my screenshots set in my pictures folder with a folder or directory called SCR. And there's the logo screenshot. I have some others in here. So I'm just going to talk about this as I go. Right click, Properties, second tab, Icon. Let's talk about a custom one now. And the only reason I showed this, just so you'll have a reference to where the original icon is located. You can certainly use also this search feature and find that icon. I'm going to go to Image Files and choose my own folder. And then I can choose my own icons. Okay. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing as earlier by changing themes to let you see that this icon should hold. I'll go with that, and I'll go with that. That icon is still here, even though I got a different theme. Okay, I'll flip this back. You remember what happened when I used a system icon? Yeah, it didn't like the icon that I picked. It gave me a blank. I should be back to the same themes I started with. Right click, edit. Or sorry, we're not done yet. Right click, Properties, Appearance. And let's pick another selection. So these are coming from my regular folder. I don't remember where I got this. I got it off the internet, I think. It's a 3D box. I'll pick Thor's hammer now. That's the one I started with. I have two of them. One with a red dot and one without. All right, so again, if you've seen my previous channel, you probably saw that quite often. I just like to use that as a reference mark. With or without text, your choice. Icon and title, icon only, title only, or both. So that's the icon itself. Now let's right click and talk about application menu icons. The icon's in here. The icons in there on the panel, for the most part, you're going to be putting here. And a lot of them you are actually going to be deleting, depending on if you alter them. All right, so I'm going to pick on games for a second. So I currently have the penguin here, but I want Darth Vader instead. What's the original icon look like? Well, if I click the icon itself It's browse icons or browse files. Browse icons is coming from the system. So if I type in game in here, I should find application games right there. Looks like a controller for an Xbox. There's a black one in here too, and I think there's a couple of more weird ones in here too. I'm going to use this one. That's what comes with your system, and do a save. And that didn't update. So now would be a good time to talk about this file right here. I am going to close that. So sometimes when you wait, they update themselves, but if you want to force it, you can perform this action right now. So let me blow this text up for you in this text file. So after you change an icon, do a refresh. You can go into the menu and you can click this and log in and log out of your system. You can also restart it. You can also force that in your panel without logging in and out of your system by opening up terminal. Not in your panel, I apologize for that word. So I'm going to type, actually I'm going to do it sideways so you can see the panel at the same time because I have auto hide turned on. So as soon as I get near it, it auto hides. So anyways, that's another thing you can do with your panel. So I'm going to type in Xfce and then put a dash. So there's no space there, panel. And then I put one space and a dash and an R. And what that's going to do is reset this panel and, more importantly, this area here. I use it more for this area than I do for the panel. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. And what you're going to see is the panel blink. And then it should have updated this icon here. So if I did this right, let me do this one more time. Right click, edit, games, click here, browse, and whatever icon I want to pick. So if I do the documents icon folder, I will, what's a good game icon? Darth Vader, right? Okay, sure, why not? Save, let's take a peek. Did it save? It did, so I don't have to reset anything. If it automatically saves, then you don't have to perform that thing that I just showed you here. In other words, that command right there. I'll make this slightly larger for you so you can see it. All right, so if it updates all on its own, you're good to go. I'm going to click the subcategory below it, and I'm going to change this back to the original icon. And anytime you see command lines, I would also highly suggest active screenshots. Active window screenshot. Just in case you inadvertently click in here by mistake. Okay, now I'm going to click that, browse. So it's called LB breakout, so I'm going to type the LB part, LBR, and there's the icon. This icon actually changes from theme to theme sometimes. I believe there's 2 of them, and I'll show that in a second. So I'm going to save that. And now that icon has been reflected, but this one is still holding the old icon. Okay, so this most likely will not fix this, but I will do it anyways. And it did not, so the old icon is still holding. That's still breakout. And this is also breakout. So I need to get rid of that one by right-clicking and removing it off my panel. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the new icon, drag it downstairs and shake that around until I get a red line and drop it in Create Launcher. Then I'm going to move that over to next to Firefox. All right, so I'm also going to change the Office icon while I'm at it. Right click, edit, Office, browse. Let's try that one and see what comes out of it. That's just something from the system for an Office icon. Okay. So basically I am going to try a different theme, and let's take a look at some of these icons. I'll just use these as defaults. That'd be nice and quick. All right, so first of all, Office is now blank. That's not a good thing. However, you like the theme though. So if you do and all the rest of your icons are in good shape, then all I need to do is alter that one. Also, the breakout icon is different, okay, because I used a generic or the system icon. You remember Darth Vader, I chose my personal icon. So the internet, the Firefox, multimedia, and of course Thunar, the file manager, and my custom icon, and of course Firefox. But this is blank. That's not a good thing. So my explanation is this. So these are all standard icon sets that came from MX. And a lot of folks use these also. You can also add your own. Sometimes you'll add themes, complete themes. Sometimes you can go to places like this and go find those kind of themes or other websites. But more importantly, if you are dealing with something that you like, and I'm going to pull this to the side because this menu is semi-see-through, so that's why if I slide this box underneath it, you'll have these blend in here. But more importantly, let's say you just have the one icon that you're after, that you want to alter, but you want to keep the theme. You like the layout for whatever reason, okay? So I'm just going to fix this icon here. So the first thing I want to let you see is when I right-click in, that edit application icon is also a grayed out icon that it didn't find in the system based on Adwaita and style. That's okay. I'm not using this icon under general conditions. But I'm going to close this right now so it's not so busy. But I'm going to open this up nonetheless. Even though it's got a blank icon, I can still open this. Now, keep in mind, we've got a blank icon here. So what happens when I click that? Did you have an icon here? And that looks kind of goofy. So let's do a refresh and see if that even fixes that. Okay. It did not. So what's your option? Well, I could change the themes, right? I can go back and change the theme to something different, but I want this set. I'm set. I want to use it. So how do I deal with this icon? Well, that's fine. Get yourself a custom icon to fix this problem. I'm going to actually use one from my system, one from my folder. Okay, and I'm not sure what a good office icon is out of this mess, but I can probably find something as a substitute, or just pick anything I want. So I haven't found anything that I would find too exciting, but just trying to find, you know, this could be anything really. So I'm being picky. I'm being very picky. So let's use that one. I'll save that. Let's go take a peek at it. That's saved. I didn't need to do what? I didn't need to open up my terminal and do a refresh. Let me get this out of the way, because the only thing I didn't like about this was, like I said, if you have something underneath it, you can read right through it. In other words, you'll see what I'm talking about now. It kind of blends in here. But more importantly, now I can keep the theme because I replaced the icon. Okay. So even if I were to close that and then right click, I'm sorry, not right click, but change the theme to something different, that icon should still hold. I'm just switching this back to default. You probably also noticed that my other personal icons also flashed with it. Okay. So that's still Office. Prior to that, you remember what that icon looked like when I picked the other one. It was blank. So if you have that affliction, you can certainly change one or two icons, and that's pretty simple to do. Also, I want you to notice the breakout icon is a little different in this particular setup. I will switch themes, and sometimes you have stuff that looks like this. That icon is still breakout. GIMP is still GIMP. Thunar, the file manager, is still Thunar. It's still same icon. However, that one changed from screenshot. Firefox, I have my custom icon, my custom web-based icon, my custom MX logo icon, Darth Vader thing, and again, you know, when I'm talking about using icons from this folder here, and again, I have this set to large. You can see the detailing on this versus the detailing here is not as pronounced, because that's obviously a lot bigger than this is. So if you were to literally make this smaller, you'll lose more detail, because you can also change this up to you to get a different reference point. This is too big, but you get the idea. That's why I'm using normal, because it fits on my screen resolution rather easily. But anyways, just giving you some of the detailing in there. So like I said, sometimes when you pick icons and they become blank because you picked a theme that was already available to you, and these are all default themes and styles and icon sets. You can certainly add some. Again, you can go onto my YouTube site and also find a link to gnome-look.org, or you can find other places to download complete sets. Okay, I've also used the file manager before to install icon themes. Also the mouse pointers, mouse cursors. You know, there's lots of things you can do for yourself to, well, spruce up or spice up your panels and your menus. Also the fact that if you don't like a theme, you can change the theme. If you don't like a certain icon, you can change that certain icon. If the icon is blank from the theme that you picked, you saw what I just did. I can fix that by assigning it an icon manually. There's lots of things you can do for yourself when it comes to this. Some people don't want to hassle with it, and some folks just do it to have fun, to stare at an icon that is not always the same type of icon, whatever your thing is. What's the original internet icon look like? Does anybody remember? I do. The original icon looks like this. And depending on the theme you picked, of course, but applications internet looks like this. I'm going to do the save thing. Okay, it didn't save, so let's do the old refresh. Upper arrow key on my keyboard. That's how I remember. It remembers your last command. Enter. And I'm going to type in exit. That's another way of closing this box. You can also use Alt and F4. And more importantly, I now have a new icon. Switching themes using the same two principles as earlier. What does that icon look like now? Let me get this out of the way. It's a globe. So it all depends on your different icon sets sometimes as how these things look. I'm going to do high contrast, and we'll do arc dark with high contrast and see what that even looks like. It's kind of a mix. Okay, now that internet icon looks weird, doesn't it? Darth Vader is still there, multimedia is still there, Office is still there, and Thunar, the file manager, and Firefox is still the same custom icon. But a lot of these are totally different. File manager time. That's what my regular folders look like right now. They still operate the same way. So if I wanted to open up my documents, there's my icon folder. Not everybody's cup of tea, I get it. But then again, if you are wanting to do this yourself, you can certainly alter these sets and individual icons if you want to. If you want to. Thank you for watching.